Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Rental Regrets. As always, I am your host, Victor Nubb, and today we were looking at Metroid, developed by Nintendo's Research and Development 1 team and Intelligent Systems, and obviously published by Nintendo and released in the United States on August 15th of 1987. So this is a very important game in the lineup for Nintendo. Obviously, this game has spawned many sequels. Most recently, they had announced that they were re-releasing one of the games that had come out originally on the GameCube, Metroid Prime, for the Switch online library. Well, it wasn't the online library. I guess it was just they're re-releasing an updated version. It's not quite a remake, but it is a remaster of the original game. But not the original, but Prime, rather. But anyway, this game has launched quite a few very important and successful titles in Nintendo's catalog. And we're going to take a look at it today. I'll be perfectly upfront about this. I played this game, I think, maybe one time at a relative's house. Did not get very far and didn't think very much of it at the time when I played it. I am more familiar and more a fan of the sequel that came out on the Super Nintendo, which was Super Metroid, than I am of this game. But I don't want to hold that against this one. Obviously, there were a lot of important things that came about as a result of the release of this game. So let's go ahead and get started. I have a couple of little fun facts that I wanted to share at the very beginning of this. Obviously, since I said that Intelligent Systems was one of the developers on this game, it's important to note that Intelligent Systems is key in the development of several other games in Nintendo's lineup. Most importantly, Fire Emblem, which is a strategy RPG game that gets regular releases for Nintendo's various systems. They also were key in the development of the Paper Mario series, I can speak, and the WarioWare series. So they have definitely had a long history of working with Nintendo. Technically, they're not a first-party developer for Nintendo. They have released a couple of other game series that were published for Atlas and I believe Square Enix. They did a couple of Dragon Quest games. The game producer for this particular title was Gunpei Yokoi. Gunpei Yokoi is one of the big Nintendo luminaries in the history of the console. Not only did he help develop the Game & Watch handheld systems, he also helped release the Game Boy, the Virtual Boy, and the WonderSwan, which I think was a Bandai handheld, or I think it's Bandai, I'm not 100% certain on that. He was also the creator of the D-pad, believe it or not, the cross-shaped D-pad that you use on so many controllers nowadays to move around if you're using digital controls versus the thumbsticks that we use now on most modern systems to play like first-person shooters and whatnot. Sadly, Gunpei Yokoi died back in, I believe it was 2004. He had stopped to help a person who was stuck on the side of the road, got out of his vehicle, and unfortunately he was hit while he was trying to help the other motorist and ended up dying from his injuries. So he is no longer with us, unfortunately. So my primary memory of this game, and the biggest problem I think it has, and I'm not saying that it's a bad game as a result of this, but I just tend to prefer games that have this, is the fact that it does not have a map. Complained many times in the past about the fact that certain games, I think, if they have a lot of ground that you have to cover, they really should have a map to help you figure out where you're supposed to go. And in fact, in looking at this video today, I am using a map to try to figure out where exactly I need to go. It's just, I'm sure through a lot of trial and error, I could probably figure out where I needed to go. But honestly, I don't think a game, the strengths of any game are going to be on whether or not you can either guess where you're supposed to go just randomly or have a good enough memory to know exactly every single twist and turn of the game world. If it's something, especially in the case of this game, where the environments are very samey at times, that it makes it a little bit too difficult to know exactly where you've gone and where you're supposed to go, I think a map is just warranted. And I have no idea if they actually included one with the original game. They might have. I don't recall ever seeing or hearing about one. And I do know that certain games have in the past had paper maps that were included with the game to help you try to figure out where you're supposed to go. And if that was the case for this one, then I think it was well called for. So I am going to go... Oh, here we go. Go down here, because there is a missile pack somewhere down this way. Full disclosure, my two favorite words on the channel. This is actually the second recording for this particular game that I am doing. The first one I actually recorded while I was on a vacation recently, taking some time off from work, and that particular evening I decided to enjoy a couple of alcoholic beverages, and the audio was not great. Not to mention, I think I might have slurred a bit more than I normally would when I would be recording videos. Not that I am actually a master of recording audio in any stretch of the imagination on a regular basis. I've already had a couple of little word flubs in this particular episode. But yeah, it was pretty bad, and I said I can do better than this. So there we go. Next, I'm going to go get a better weapon for my character. Yeah, this game pioneered a lot of ideas that have become synonymous with the what's referred to by a lot of people, maybe not favorably by Metroid fans, as the Metroidvania genre, which usually involves, wandering around a map, finding items, unlocking areas of the map with new powers that you gain so that you can find new powers to unlock new areas, and so on and so forth. They also usually involve upgrading your character's either health or weaponry, abilities that help expand where you can go. In this game, I think the screw attack actually helps with that in some regard. Obviously, we've already gotten the ability to roll up in a ball, and eventually Samus will get bombs that she'll be able to use to blow up areas. One of the things that was a big surprise at the end of the original game, because the name and the character art all did not necessarily give this away, is the fact that Samus is actually female. In fact, there is a code that you can use, because this is one of the games that actually used a password system, where if you enter the code Justin, Justin, Bailey, Bailey, you can actually play as an unarmored version of Samus. So you see her just running around in like a bikini. They obviously re-released this game back in, I think it was the 2000s on... I believe it was the Game Boy Advance, and renamed it Metroid Zero Mission, cleaned up the graphics. I believe they added a few new abilities, like Samus had the ability to grab onto like ceiling tiles to go across lava and sand pits and all that. Here we go. Alright, so this is the first area where you have to blast open a door using missiles. Up. And first weapon upgrade. The long beam. So now Samus's shots will actually go a lot farther. I think they go across the whole screen. Only one way to find that out. That would be affirmative, yes. Also has the same problem as the Mega Man games, in the sense that when you shoot 3 bullets, that's the max that the game will let you shoot on screen at once. Never loved that. I'm sure it's because they had to limit the number of sprites that you were putting on the screen at once, so that it didn't slow the game down to a crawl, but yeah, I never loved that. Alright, got some missiles. Now we want to go get some health. Again, as I said, I'm using a map to guide myself in the direction I need to go for everything. I don't expect to beat the whole game in one sitting, and we're not doing this as a multiple episode series. We're just doing a good look at this game before we actually do a series, because I am planning to do a long play for Super Metroid. And I wanted to make sure that I gave this game a fair shake before we moved on to the one that I actually have played, because I actually owned it when I was younger, Super Metroid, which we are going to do a complete playthrough of. Because it shouldn't be a surprise that a lot of the enemies that you see in this game reappear in the sequel. Nintendo's always been a big fan of reusing characters that have appeared in previous games. To a fault, in some senses. And a lot of people have complained in the past that the Paper Mario series seems to be a bit too attached to reusing enemies and characters from all the previous Mario games, and maybe using them to its detriment. In particular, I think the overuse of Toad characters is probably a little bit silly. Like, you can come up with other friendly characters. They don't always have to be Toads. Got it. Uh-oh. Ooh. Close call. I got health here. Excellent. Ooh, nice. Alright, so now we need to go get some bombs. Oh. Not 100% certain if the sand hurts or just slows me down, and I don't intend to find out. Unless I am forced to. Like, oh no. Oh. I will say that although I never actually owned Metroid, I did own the second game technically in the series after the original game, which was Metroid. I don't know if they called it Metroid 2 or if it was just Metroid The Return of Samus, but it was the game that came out on the Game Boy. And funny story about that, while I got that game, I did not own the Game Boy itself. We had a Christmas one year where my parents decided, since they were taking me and the younger of my two sisters on a trip to visit our family in North Dakota, that they were going to give us something to help us stay quiet on the long trip there. So they bought me and my sister handhelds, and my sister got a Game Boy, and I got a Game Gear. I don't know why they made those choices. I don't know if it was something that my younger sister had asked for. I don't know if I actually asked for a handheld, but they ended up getting them. I owned a game for the system. I owned Metroid 2, and I believe if they didn't buy it for my sister, we also got a copy of... Interesting. Guess you can't do anything there. We also got a copy of Super Mario Land 2, the search for the 6 golden coins, or whatever it's called. And I think that was bought for me. But again, the Game Boy was not mine, so there was absolutely no expectation that I would ever be allowed to use it. It was just something that I ended up with a copy of. I will say Metroid 2, and we may look at it. I don't know if the Retron 5 supports Game Boy games or not. If it doesn't, I might get a Super Game Boy, one of the little plug-in carts that you could use as an adapter with the Super Nintendo. I thought it was designed poorly. The graphics were good. I'll say that. The graphics for Return of Samus were good, but they were too big. And the screen, the area of the screen was too small for what was going on the screen. So if... It would be like if the camera here was zoomed in maybe 3 times as much as it currently is on Samus. And that was your entire play area at all times while you're playing the game. And again, just like this game, no map. So that was one of the biggest problems with that, was the fact that it was zoomed in, and also you didn't have a map to help guide you where you were supposed to go. So I thought the game was okay, but I don't think I ever beat it, and I didn't get very far because it was one of those things where it was just, I don't know where I'm supposed to go, and the areas of the map are better designed, but they are so big that it was really hard to figure out where I was supposed to go. I might have gone too far here. Where am I? I think I did. Actually, tell you what, let's do that. Let's go back. I may not be able to get to the next item without more missiles anyway, so doing this is probably helping me restock. Now, I do know that there is an adapter that I can use to look at Game Gear games, and I do still have all of my old Game Gear games, and we will probably look at some of them if I can get them working. If I can't, I'm not going to be too worried about trying to find new copies of any of them, because frankly, there were not a lot of great Game Gear games. One or two that might be worth looking up an additional copy if I cannot get one that works. But outside of that, yeah, I don't know if it's all that big a deal. I guess this is not a room I can go down through the floor for. Unless I miss something. Oh, there we go. Thought there was something I was missing. There was! Owie! Alright, good. I need one more missile pack. There we go. Alright, there we go. And I'm going to get my next gun upgrade in this area. Oh, you thought you had me and you didn't. Sure, I could use bombs to kill those guys. Here we go. Now I get the ice beam. I think this is the ice beam. That would certainly seem to indicate, yes, it is ice beam. I think the idea of the ice beam was good, but the implementation of it not so great, because at least in Super Metroid, I feel like all it did was it made it take that much longer to kill enemies instead of... yeah, instead of making it a much more effective killing weapon. Alright, so I gotta go up. Aha! I can freeze the little floating bagel turds, for lack of a better name for them. Ah! Nope, go up, up. Alright, so there's a block right there that I can stand on. Cool. Can I get out? Uh-oh. How do I get out of here? Am I gonna have to bomb jump? No, because I can't bomb while I'm bouncing. Uh-oh. Alright, so now we got a problem. I need to figure out how to get out of here. Hup. Ah, I can't make it out. Can I shoot the walls? No. Ah, there we go. Alright, well, I just had to cheese a block to get out. I don't think that's how you were supposed to do it, but it worked. And we continue on. Oh, it worked! I don't know if it was worth it, though. I got 20 health out of that. It's funny, even though I never actually beat this game, I still had a good idea of the mythology of it, and it was almost certainly because of the cartoon series Captain N, the Game Master, I think was his name, which we talked about in the Punch-Out episode, talking about the various characters that were introduced or, I guess, used in that series, because most of them were just references to old Nintendo games. They had very few original characters that appeared in that show. Yeah, see, I don't know if this is actually making it easier or harder to kill enemies. I guess if it's one that takes more than one shot, blowing them up actually does the trick as well. The bomb. Oop. No, not getting that one. Just leave them alone. Moving on. I always found it interesting that for whatever reason, Nintendo has in the past expressed a lack of faith in the viability of this particular video game series. They just don't see it in the same light that they do Super Mario or Zelda, the Zelda games. They kind of look at it kind of like the redheaded stepchild, and I think it's because all of the other games in their lineup adhere to a much more family-friendly aesthetic. Even Zelda. Zelda has touched on adult themes very little in their history. Not much, but they have. And even with that, the games tend to be very silly, a little bit too hand-holdy, and I think that was why Breath of the Wild tended to be a lot more hands-off. You just kind of get kicked into a large world and left to your own devices to figure out how to finish everything. And this game series, you know, you're shooting monsters that are not cartoony, they're not silly. The big baddie at the end of the game is a giant brain in a jar. Frankly, some of the enemy designs are a little bit spooky. Uh-oh. Alright, well, I got one of them. Get the health. Ah! See if I went in the right tube. I'll wait. Wait a beat. Yeah, this game just didn't fit into their portfolio of for all ages video game series, and I think as a result of that, they kind of view it as a lesser game than some of the other ones that they produce. So much so that, in fact, when Metroid Prime, so I gotta adjust here, came out, or well, it was in development, they kicked it to a studio in the US, Retro Studio, something like that, in Austin, Texas. And that it wasn't obviously the first game that had ever been produced by another studio for Nintendo, but it was kind of a big deal because this was one of their supposed marquee games, and they had mostly oversight. They didn't actually do any direct development. It was handled all by the other studio. And it was a huge hit, and they made 3 of them. And Nintendo still kind of looks at it as like the, all right, I guess we'll do another one since people are asking for it series instead of the one that people legitimately want. It's wacky. So there's supposed to be a false wall here, and I don't know where. Aha! Sucker. Oh, there we go. Probably there. And I don't know where else. Maybe on the floor here? I think I see it, but... And a couple of beams go through. There we go. See, there's something here. I don't know. I thought I could go through here. Maybe I can't. Yeah, I don't know. Because you can't... When you bomb jump in the... Oh, well, maybe I am doing it the right way. Aha! Got it. Just needed to bomb a little bit higher than I was jumping. Gotcha. And got another E-tank. Sweet. I think I can go to the right here to get out. Come on, get some health. Get out! It was not worth it. You can see that the series still uses those little tubes to generate enemies that you can just use as fodder to recover your health and ammo. Some ideas are too good to give up on. Boy, the ice beam sound effect is really grating on the ears. Ouch. Alright, not that door. We want to go down all the way to here. And I think we are headed to Norfair. I don't think I had ever gotten far enough to actually leave the first area when I had played it in the past, so this is all kind of uncharted territory for me. Oh, come on. Get out of the way! No, you jerk! You're getting a bomb for that. Wow, that didn't kill him. Can I get some health? Alright, good, good. Uh-oh! Oh! That's not worth it. I'm hopeful that in the time that we have the video going today, I'll be able to get the Various suit, but I am not holding my breath. Not 100% on that. I think I have to have high jump boots to get to the Various suit, and if that's the case, we might have a ways to go still. Although I think in my order of items that I'm trying to pick up here, that would be the very next one. It is. Alright, so we have our mission. Hopefully we can get to that, and once I get Various suit, I think I'll call it a day. That's actually pretty good progress. I'm not 100% certain how long the game takes. I don't think it's a terribly long game. Maybe 3-4 hours total to beat it. Although we'll say this is another one of those games that has the dreaded password system instead of an actual, like, on-cart battery. Obviously, when they were producing the game, putting a battery in is just an added expense, not to mention the danger of the battery going bad and possibly leaking acid. Although I think the little wafer batteries that they used back in the day did not run that risk. So there wasn't a huge challenge of keeping the carts intact and safe from any harm from internal components used. But yeah, if you have a save system, it's just so much better. And obviously Nintendo tried to fix that with their N64 when they started selling those memory packs that you would actually put in the controller. And then if you were obviously going to a friend's house and they had a copy of the game that you wanted to play, you could just put in your memory pack and use that to pick up where you had left off. But it always, at the time, seemed like it was just a cheap ploy to get people to pay for an additional peripheral and also justify that port that was on the N64 controller. And then it turns out, I mean, if you bought the N64 and were aware of it, that they were going to use that port for something completely different. And in the case of the N64, it was the Rumble pack, which you would, you know, pay another $10-15 for, and that would make your controller shake when you were playing certain games, which was mind-blowing when it first came out. Hey, a thing happens on the screen and my controller shakes. Neat! And now it's one of those things that people just have the ability to turn off the functionality for on their games, and if they feel like it's interfering with what they're doing, they'll actually do so. It's weird. The more we move forward, the more we seem to move backwards also. Yeah, I don't think I'd ever been to this part of the game. Well, it doesn't look like the enemies have changed much. Now shoot! Oh, he knocked me right in the lava. Jerk. Yeah, this is kind of going towards what I was talking about, which is too many bullets you have to shoot when you're using the ice beam. Get out of here. At least it feels like the bomb gets more use than it does in Super Metroid, which is purely there seemingly just to open pathways. Uh-oh. Well, I can... Oh, I was going to use them as a platform, and then I fell in the lava. Get out! Get out! Oh, no, this isn't good. There we go. All right. All right. We're making our way. All right, so I gotta go down. And there is a false floor here. Just gotta figure out where. There it is. We'll use that to go. And this is one of those things that I think maybe have become, what's the term, galaxy brain type stuff, where everyone knows about the hidden floors or bombable floors that you can go through because everyone else found out about it and told each other, and not necessarily because it was obvious. And I don't know if I was a kid playing this, I ever would have been able to figure it out. I probably would have been too dumb and given up and said, I don't know where to go anymore. Alright, we got the high jump boots. There we go. I'm making a lot of progress. I didn't think I was going to do this much. While we're down here, there is a couple more items that we can get to. We'll go ahead and try to reach those before we go back up to where the various suit is. Stop hitting me, you jerks! Oh, come on, out! Out, out, out! Kill that thing, that up. Game still loves its traps that involve pushing you into lava. Now I have no idea if I can go back up the way I came in. I feel like it was a lot of dropping bombs in a straight line to come down. But maybe it's one of those things where I just gotta jump and land on one of the platforms when it reforms. There we go. Cool. Easy enough. Alright, good. Can't make that jump. That's alright. Alright, so this is not the one I want to take. I want to go up further than this. Uh-oh. Oh, those stupid little droplet things. Whatever all that garbage is. Dang, they hit hard. Good. Raise. Alright, so we want to go all the way up. So here. There are not one, but two. Count them, 2 missile packs to get here. I wonder if I'm also expected to use missiles to destroy some of the enemies that are frozen. It's not beyond the realm of possibility if that's how they expect you to kill certain enemies in this game, and I'm not doing that. Alright, so now I need to go down. I wonder if I can get to the weapon here. Oh. Did I not go far enough up? I thought there were only 2 missile packs in this area. They give you an invisible wall, but there's nothing to do there. Or I might be missing something. Yeah, I'm not entirely certain. Gotcha. I was gonna get you eventually. Okay, fine. Ah! You jerk. Get out of the lava. I assume that's lava. May just be red sand. Unbelievable. Why are you so tough? Alright, just leave him alone. So I guess there was a false ceiling that I didn't go through. Let's see if I miss something. Can I get up here? Oh, yes I can. Or not. How about I do it from here? Oh. How about I do it from here? Aha. There it is. Wait. Jump! Too late! And... Oh, I missed. I'm gonna get this. 5, 4, 3, 2, jump! Alright, almost. So this is the one that I missed. There are 2 here. So that other area was the one that I was supposed to do after I got these 2. But the same thing, there's 2 packs that we can get here. And then a set of false walls that supposedly I can use to get to another weapon, but I don't know if I'm supposed to do it yet. Aha! You can't kill those guys, but you have to use a missile to do so. Well, let's see if I can do it. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. Come on. There's a little bit of lag in me using those. I'm assuming I shouldn't try to kill those things, just leave them alone. Alright, well, this could either be a total disaster, or this could be an item that they wanted me to pick up at a later point in the sequence. We're about to find out. Ow. It's right there. Interesting. They had me not coming to get this item for a while. I don't know. Not sure what it got for me, though. That might have just been another ice beam, so I didn't really need it. Alright, well, we got one more that we're going to try to get, and then we're going to call today, and we're going to go after the Varia suit. Oh, God, I hate these damn dragons. There we go. Get the hell away from me. Stop it. I want to make it to this Varia suit. Alright, so we are out. We want to go down to the next door on the left. Ouch. Get out of here. Get. Nope, can't kill those guys. Ow. I am in serious danger here of dying because I'm getting rocked by certain enemies. Ah! He's turned into a spinny guy. Gotcha. Gotcha. Getting plenty of ammo, but I need health. Nope. I learned my lesson with you guys. Shooting you is a waste of time. It's better to just use a missile and get it over with. Alright, so this should be the path back up to Bryn Star. It's funny, I don't know if I would have known the names if I hadn't seen the map for this, and obviously the areas that you see in Super Metroid are basically the same areas because you just returned to planet Zebes, not sure how you say it, and they all have the same names, so it might have been in the instruction manual for all I know. Alright, we're going to stick around and get some health, or try to get some health, and probably get my butt handed to me a bunch by these stupid, like, dung beetle creatures. I shouldn't be attacking both of them. Just do one at a time. Okay, no. Go away. I want to fight one. Ah! Damn it. I need some health. I don't want any more missiles. I want health. There we go. Ow! This is turning out to be a net loss. I'm not getting health, I'm losing it. Damn it! Alright, this isn't worth the effort. I'm leaving. No! I hate you so much. Stop it! All you're doing is causing me misery! Stop! I'm gonna die. Get away from me! I hate all of you! Ah! Stop it! But they are stingy with those larger health upgrades in this one. Or health packs, whatever you want to call them. Ow! I'm gonna be so annoyed if I get right on the doorstep of the Varia suit and I can't get it. I don't want your missiles, I want health. Health, health, health. Go away. Just a little bit too close for comfort. I will say when I was playing through this during my first attempt at recording the episode, I had a less than favorable view of the game, mainly because I fell into a pit that had absolutely no value whatsoever to it and got stuck there and couldn't get out. And it's the pit that's actually 2-3 screens to the right of where I'm standing right now. And yeah, I was kind of annoyed by that because it was like, this seems like a cheap way to screw a player out of finishing the game or forcing them to get a password and starting over. And of course, it was probably something that I couldn't do simply because I was too drunk and my hand-eye coordination wasn't the greatest at that point in time, but whatever. I still thought it was cheap. Still think it's cheap. Don't do that. That's not good design. Alright, we're doing a little bit better on health. That's because I'm taking time and stopping to shoot all the, I don't know, evil alien hedgehogs. Up. Ow. Get. I hate you. Go away. I think this is the door I need to go in. We're almost there. We're almost to the Varia suit. Oh, I do have a turbo button turned on. Ah. Alright, so I already went this way once. I guess I just have to go up. There was an area that I was supposed to go up in and I didn't. Gotcha. No health, though. Come on. There we go. Owie! Alright, so it was up from here. There's a passage, I guess a little passage I could have opened here and I didn't. There it is. Yep. Oh, I gotta blow all the way up to the top. And I'm sure I gotta jump on one of those before it reforms. There we go. There we go. Ooh, little audio glitch there. Alright, we're here. And these enemies take too many bullets. Like, this game seems tailor-made for using a turbo controller. In the case of the Retron 5, obviously, they give you the ability to set up a turbo button. Here we go. We made it! We got to the Varia suit, and I hope the red doesn't mean I have to use a missile to open it. Nope. Varia suit. Unfortunately, this doesn't come with giant shoulder pads like it did in the original game. Alright. We're going to go ahead and stop there and offer some final thoughts. This game, despite my initial impressions when I was playing it half drunk, has aged extremely well. I do think it is still a lot of fun to play. There are some caveats to that. I don't think the soundtrack is all that great. I don't think it's aged terribly well. Some of the sound effects that they've used are not pleasing to the ear. The shot that you get when you have the ice beam equipped is very annoying sounding. When you get hit, it doesn't really have a lot of impact. It's just kind of like a low fart sound, for lack of a better descriptor. The music, not all that memorable, just not to me. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who would disagree and say it has a very memorable soundtrack, but that's probably because they owned the game when they were younger and I didn't. I think the backgrounds should have been there. They should have had something for backgrounds. Right now, it's just nothing but black space behind Samus, and I think pretty much every environment I walked into didn't have any kind of background detail at all, which is kind of a bummer. I think it would help make areas a little bit easier to discern for players that aren't using a map. And as I said before, this game doesn't have an in-game map, and I think that is to the detriment of the design. It would have been nice if there was a way to figure out where you were and where you had already been if they had a map system similar to what they do in Super Metroid, which is obviously an upgrade in almost every way to what they had done in this one. Just the idea that it doesn't give you the entire map right off the bat. There are map rooms in Super Metroid that you can plug into and you can download the map of the area you were currently in, but for the most part, until you got there, all that was revealed to you is what you happened to walk into, which was a brilliant idea because then you have a map of where have I been? Where can I go? And that stuff just not here in the game, which I think kind of harms it. Obviously, we didn't get as far as one of the bosses, and we didn't actually see one of the titular Metroid aliens, which are these little, for lack of a better descriptor, jellyfish with teeth that would grab onto you, and if you didn't bomb your way out, they could kill you. They were very difficult enemies to get away from if you didn't freeze them and then shoot them with missiles as soon as you saw them. But yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it today. And thankfully, they decided to make some sequels for this series after the initial release of this one. And Super Metroid is one of my favorite games of all time. So stick around. We're going to be looking at that one in a long play in the near future. And I'm very excited for the release of this one because I enjoyed that game very much. And, well, I'll go ahead and say it. I've already recorded it. I thought it came out very nice. Very good series. And I'm really looking forward to getting this one up on the channel. So, yeah, my one regret is I wish I had gotten this game when I was younger. I know I have some complaints about the game looking at it in a one-off episode, but I think a lot of these may have been allayed or assuaged or whatever the word I want to use here is if I just had the game as opposed to looking at it in a one-off episode where my memory doesn't exist for this game, so all I'm doing is cheating and looking at a guide online to do this stuff, and there might have been a nostalgic value to trying to do all this stuff just off of memory from playing the game, trial and error, figuring it all out on my own. But as it is, yeah, I think it's still a great game, and I definitely wish I had gotten it when I was younger, but I have it now. We gave it a good shake and look forward to the long play for Super Metroid coming out in the very near future. That's going to do it for this episode of Rental Regrets. As always, I do appreciate each of you watching, and I will see you next time.